If you would, I want you to take a couple minutes and listen to a short clip of a video from a 2016 World Economic Forum event. The topic is all about neuroethics. So as advances keep being made in the space of scanning people's brains, not necessarily in a medical way, like you need a brain scan because something happened, a traumatic injury. No, we're talking about scans via headphones, via wearables, things like that can monitor what you're actually thinking about and like what you're paying attention to. You could be sitting in class. Are you paying attention, or are you simply just making eye contact with the teacher or the professor, but you're not actually paying attention? How about in the workforce? So it's not just going to monitor your productivity, but even your morale, or if you're feeling fatigued, things like that. So the questions of ethics, what crosses a line? Do people have a right to keep what's going on in their head? Their thoughts, are they allowed to keep that private? Who gets access to that? Who's going to own that data? So again, this is 10 years old. I want you to hear some of what she says, and then I'll come back.
Your brain was sacred. It was the last and final frontier. I can't tell what you're thinking other than to guess by looking at your faces right now, but soon, with these types of devices, these EEG smart cap devices that have many applications beyond mere drowsiness, we can start to track things like whether you're drowsy or alert, which times of day you're most productive, when you're paying attention and when you're not, what you're focusing on a screen when you're focusing, whether or not you're starting to suffer from cognitive decline, whether you have signs of early dementia, whether or not you're starting to become a very expensive person to employ at a company. And there's nothing that protects you in any country against this type of information being used against you by an employer. In the United States, we have something called the Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, which protects individuals from having their employers collect their genetic information and use that information against them. There is no Neurological Information Non-Discrimination Act, or its equivalent in the United States or in any other country. And yet your brain holds so much greater potential for being able to learn things about you. There is no such thing as cognitive liberty. There is no such thing as a truly protected freedom of thought. But maybe there should be, because these devices are already in the workplace, and we might fear, up until now, that the primary tools of our oppression might be governments. But what if it ultimately is in the workplace? What if the last bastion of freedom, your brain, is no longer so free after all? What if what we're really talking about is the total end of privacy? Well, you'll say, privacy's gone already, it's all right. But wasn't your brain the one area in which you thought you would always have some sense of privacy? And companies will say they will not see your data, they'll aggregate it. And yet already we see that rather than just having something like people analytics that looks at how people interact with each other, we're looking at how individual employees perform, and that has great promise. It's terrific to be able to find the weakest link. That has great promise that with the right boundaries can help us have more effective workplaces, but also ones with cultures that we want to embrace. Is it only that we're going to look at what's happening? Could we also encourage individuals to start doing things like enhance their brains? Could we ask them to take things like smart pills and smart medications? If you're drowsy while driving, should you take something like modafinil in order to improve your wakefulness? If you're on a 48-hour shift as a physician, should you take a wakefulness drug, and is your failure to do so negligence? We already see on Wall Street that there is rampant use of drugs. We see it across law firms across the world. We see it at the highest performance levels. Is it something your employer can ask you to do? Ultimately, this is the question not just about the productivity of our workforce, but about the culture of our workforce and our society. We have to ask if there are any limits. Are there any regulations? Are there any norms that we wish to adopt to ensure that these great promises in the future, these great promises that are at our doorstep and in our companies today, if there are any limits that we wish to place to ensure that there's a balance between maximizing productivity and ensuring that it's a society and a culture that we want to live in. Thank you.
So there are companies who are using this, and even like the military and things like that. If you look at this chart, this is just a sample. So the mind is like the last fortress to take. You know what I'm saying? It's doable to control somebody's behavior. You can put them in prison. You can tase them even. You can tie them up. Like, you know what I'm saying? People's behavior can be controlled to a certain extent, but where there's always been freedom is your mind. You're allowed to think about what you want to think about. You're allowed to own that space. That's yours, right? And then now we're even crossing that boundary, which is like the last one. What's going on the inside of a person in their headspace? And so if you have ways to hack their brain, you've taken away a person's last free space. I think it's interesting that you go onto your social media, Facebook and Instagram are doing it. I think TikTok even kind of has like a version of this, but there's the little bubble there. What are you thinking about? Why are you asking me what I'm thinking about? But that's what social media is. All of us share what we're thinking about. I'm literally doing that right now. And it's a means of sharing information. It's a means of engaging other people. I like to ask questions and let people weigh in. Whether we agree or not, that's okay. It's just a means of seeing where other people are coming from. But when it comes to someone owning that data and taking it and doing whatever they want with it, and they can say, hey, it just falls under the umbrella of we're looking to make the most out of our employees, get the most out of them as far as productivity goes, and of course we care about them, so we want to check on their morale. Oh, look, we can detect early if there are signs of dementia. So it'll look like it'll be marketed as something that's good, that's going to keep people safe. But it's like the question is, who has access to that? Who's going to own it? And then what are they going to do with it? You're going to weaponize it against people because you're going to expose their thoughts to everybody else. You're going to blackmail them based on what you know they're thinking about. And I'm not saying that they can 100% read your mind, but the point is, it's a hack into your headspace via wearables and other technology that's out there, headphones and things like that. And so it's like you're not even safe there. They can just hack your mind. And it's 2026. Where's it going to be in 5 years? You know what I mean? So what an interesting time to be alive is all I can say.